You don't realize it at first. It doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like normal life. You wake up, check your phone, compare your progress, overthink one decision, delay another, and somehow the day ends without you moving forward. And the strange part? You tell yourself you'll fix it tomorrow. But tomorrow repeats the same pattern. So the real question isn't, why are you stuck? It's, what invisible system is keeping you this way? Because most people don't fail due to lack of effort. They fail because they're stuck inside psychological loops they can't see. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. But let's not rush. Because the first trap is already active inside you. You often feel like you're thinking too much. Replaying conversations. Imagining outcomes. Predicting problems that haven't happened yet. From the outside, it looks like intelligence. But from the inside, it feels exhausting. This is the overthinking trap. It slowly disconnects you from action. You start believing that more thinking will lead to better decisions. But research in cognitive psychology shows something different. Your brain isn't designed to solve uncertainty through endless analysis. It's designed to reduce uncertainty through action. So when you stay in your head, you create a loop. Thought, doubt, more doubt. This happens because of something called cognitive load. Your working memory has limits. When it gets overloaded, your brain doesn't become smarter. It becomes slower and more anxious. Like a computer with too many tabs open. And here's the twist. Overthinking feels productive. But it's actually avoidance in disguise. Avoidance of uncertainty. Avoidance of risk. Avoidance of discomfort. Which leads to the second trap. You wait for the right moment. The perfect mood. The ideal version of yourself. But it never comes. This is the perfectionism trap. And it's not about high standards. It's about fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of failure. Fear of discovering you're not as capable as you hoped. So your brain creates a strategy. Delay action until conditions feel safe. But psychologically, this is driven by something called loss aversion. Your brain treats potential failure as a threat. So it chooses inaction to avoid emotional loss. But inaction has a hidden cost. It slowly rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who acts. And start seeing yourself as someone who plans. And identity shapes behavior more than motivation ever will. Which brings us to a deeper trap. One that almost no one talks about. You start comparing your life to others. Constantly. Silently. Scrolling through people who seem ahead. More successful. More confident. More certain. And even when you know it's curated, it still affects you. This is the comparison trap. And it's rooted in evolutionary psychology. Your brain evolved to measure your position within a group. Because in early human history, status meant survival. So your mind scans for signals. Where do I stand? Am I behind? Am I enough? But in today's world, the group is no longer 50 people. It's millions. Which overwhelms your social comparison system. And creates a distorted baseline. You're not comparing your real life to someone else's real life. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And your brain doesn't correct for that. It just reacts. With pressure. With insecurity. With quiet dissatisfaction. And this emotional state leads to another trap. You lose trust in yourself. You hesitate before making decisions. You second-guess your instincts. You ask others for validation. even for small things. This is the self-doubt trap. And it often starts early. Repeated experiences of criticism, failure, or unpredictability. Teach your brain one thing: your judgment is not safe. So it shifts control outward. You rely on external signals instead of internal ones. This is linked to something called learned helplessness. When your brain believes outcomes are out of your control, it stops trying to control them, even when you actually can. And over time, this becomes your default mode. You don't act with confidence. You act with caution. And caution slowly becomes paralysis. Which leads to the final trap. You stay busy. Constantly. But not necessarily productive. You switch tasks. Check notifications. Start things, but don't finish them. This is the distraction trap. And it's not just about discipline. It's about dopamine. Your brain is wired to seek quick rewards. Every notification. Every scroll. Every small piece of novelty gives you a dopamine hit. But here's the problem. Dopamine doesn't just reward pleasure. It drives anticipation. So your brain starts craving stimulation. And deep work begins to feel boring. Even uncomfortable. So you avoid it. Not consciously. But neurologically. And over time, your attention span fragments. Your focus weakens. And your ability to do meaningful work declines. Without you even noticing. Now step back. Look at all 5 traps. Overthinking. Perfectionism. Comparison. Self-doubt. Distraction. They don't exist separately. They form a system. A loop. Each one feeding the next. And this is where the shift begins. Because you're not broken. You're patterned. These behaviors are not flaws. They are adaptations. Your brain is trying to protect you. From uncertainty. From rejection. From failure. But in doing so, it's also limiting you. So the question becomes, how do you break a pattern that feels like you? You don't fight it. You rewire it. Gently. Consistently. And it starts with something simple. First, reduce thinking. Increase action. Not big action. Small, imperfect action. Because action reduces uncertainty faster than thought ever can. When you act, your brain receives real feedback. Which updates your internal model. Instead of planning the perfect video, record a rough version. Your brain learns more from doing than imagining. Second, lower the standard. Not the direction. Perfectionism fades when you redefine success. Not as a perfect outcome, but as completed process. Psychologically, this shifts your reward system. From outcome-based dopamine to progress-based dopamine. Writing 1 paragraph daily. Instead of waiting to write something great. Third, control your comparison input. You can't remove comparison. But you can shape what your brain sees. Reduce exposure to unrealistic standards. Increase exposure to real, relatable progress. Because your brain calibrates based on input. Follow creators who show process, not just results. Fourth, rebuild self-trust through evidence. Confidence doesn't come from thinking positively. It comes from proving to yourself that you can act. Even when unsure. Make small decisions without asking others. And stick with them. Each decision becomes data. And data rebuilds trust. Fifth, train your attention like a muscle. Start with short, focused sessions. No distractions. Even 10 minutes. Because attention strengthens through use. Not intention. Set a timer. Work on one task. No switching. Let your brain feel the discomfort. That's where rewiring happens. Now bring it all together. Think of your mind like a control panel. 5 switches. Each trap is a switch stuck in the wrong position. You don't smash the panel. You adjust one switch at a time. And slowly, the system changes. Not instantly, but permanently. Because the goal isn't to eliminate these patterns. It's to become aware of them. To notice when they activate. To pause. And choose differently. Even slightly. And one day, you'll realize something quiet. You're still thinking. Still comparing. Still doubting. But it no longer controls you. It just passes through. Like a thought. Like a wave. And maybe that's what freedom actually is. Not a perfect mind. But a mind you understand. And no longer fear.